It's the morning of April 19th, and today is the anniversary of two important events. The first being the shot heard around the world in Lexington and Concord that really began the Revolutionary War. And if you remember your history, the reason why that occurred was because the British were coming for the arms of the citizens so that they could not protect themselves. Important lesson. And the second thing that I'd like to mention is also that it's the anniversary of the Waco disaster, when the federal government heavy-handedly took on a group of very peaceful people under pretenses, the government under pretenses that they were saving children and enforcing federal firearms laws, and supposedly, I guess, a subpoena to show up in court, which they could have served on David Koresh at any time without the violence that they escalated. Remember, this is a police state that arms its police officers now, actually starting with the Waco thing, as an occupational militarized army against citizens. Not a long video this morning. I just wanted to bring up a couple of things. And that we did go to the barbecue at the Bundys yesterday. It was very wonderful. They are the very best people in the world. Actually, everyone. We're going to be back there today. We have to come back here to upload our videos and other things. But I did want to mention something else, and this goes along with many times I've told them, the vets and people like them, that they need to have sentries, they need to protect themselves, they need to have early warning systems and alert rosters. I don't want to make a big deal about it, but on Thursday afternoon, I was surrounded by 5 federal officers in Vegas. Again, I don't know if they were going to try to detain me under the indefinite detention of the NDAA or just intimidate me, but I don't meet them on their terms if I can avoid it. And fortunately, I had someone with me this time that could verify what happened, because there were questions as to whether or not I was being honest about it. Ladies and gentlemen, if I haven't proven my integrity and honesty at this point, then I'm just going to give up, okay? Because there's no use in it. So, at any rate, this person was with me at the time. 5 federal officers surrounded us. And I turned my phone off. I had it on, which is probably how they found me again. I turned it off, and then they became a little confused. They weren't sure who was who at this area that I was in, and we were able to slip away. Or maybe they just decided to let me slip away since I was with someone, because normally I'm not. Okay? That really did happen, just like all the others I've talked about. Fortunately or unfortunately, this time there was a witness that was able to attest to the fact to a radio talk show host who I am never going to interview with again. I also wanted to explain something. Sheriff Mack said that it is said that he said that the demonstrators in Bunkerville on the last day of the confrontation at the corrals, the federal corrals, wanted to put the men, women, and children up front to make them get shot first, to give us, some sympathy or whatever it was that the media was spinning that into being. I want to make sure, and I've done this on television interviews and on radio interviews, I want you to be absolutely understanding here that that's not what occurred. These people, the men, women, and children, were going to go to that area regardless of the circumstances. And the federals there had said that they would shoot anyone who came there, men, women, or children, armed or unarmed. So the militia didn't go there to put these women and children in front. As a matter of fact, the militia was there to protect the unarmed men, women, and children, to prevent those federals from firing on that unarmed, basically peaceful crowd, who were going over there to get the cattle that Sheriff Gillespie and supposedly the BLM had agreed to release, and that the BLM was going to stand down. Of course, as you know, when they got there, they had not stood down. They were in full battle rattle, full battle gear. And I just wanted to make sure that you understood that. I'm going to say it one more time. The militia was not hiding behind the men, women, and children in that demonstration. They were there to ensure that those criminal feds did not fire on an unarmed crowd. Now, I was in Garden Plot when I was in the Army. That's the Army Civil Disturbance Training and Command and Control of Civil Disturbance Operations. I'm going to tell you this right now, and you can study a lot of civil disturbance things. Kent State was an exception. That was a big mistake. Wrong to fire on an unarmed crowd, even if they're throwing rocks and things like that at you. You do not put your most lethal weapons, your most your most lethal weapons on the front line of a civil disturbance operation. That's the last thing you employ. You put up shielded officers at the most, possibly with batons, possibly with pepper spray, depending on the situation. You do not put your dogs on the front line at first. You do not put automatic weapons and grenade launchers on the front line. This was a war on the American citizens in Bunkerville. This was not a civil disturbance operation. I want you to understand that. All right? So anyway, that's enough for today. We'll update you some more as things progress. Out here.